What's up, everybody? It's your boy Season. So today we've got another kotobukiya Brave review. We're going to be taking a look at Da-Garn and the GX parts. I don't expect this to be a long review, as the GX parts are probably not going to be that many. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go. So let's take a look at this manual. So of course, beautiful box art. You know that I love the kotobukiya box art for Brave. It just looks amazing. So of course you got the story here on the back, and you know, the thing about this one is actually quite thicker than most of the manuals, especially considering it's just like a bunch of extra parts. But we've got that there. Let's see, we've got the QR code for if you need to buy extra parts, even though this is not any good for us in America, but for those in Japan, they can do that. So we'll take that, move that to the side. So you've got a number of sprues here, nothing too crazy, even though it does look like you have a little bit more than normal. So that's interesting. But you know, the thing about this is that the original Da-Garn X for kotobukiya came out literally like 2 years ago. And the fact that we got this, because this came out in June of 2024, and even though I'm recording this a little late, I've had it since the end of June, but I never got around to it because I was on vacation and all that. But you know, the thing about it is, you know, the fact that we had to wait almost 2 years for extra parts, that just seems kind of odd to me. I don't know why this one specifically, it took so long. Maybe they just had other ones in front of it. Maybe it was just the fact that maybe the Da-Garn didn't sell well. I have no idea, you know, but you know, it looks like it's pretty basic. I don't see anything super crazy going on here, but Da-Garn is one of my favorites. This was the first series that I saw that, so of course you've got your color, you've got your color codes here. There is quite a bit of detailing that you do need to do to kind of make this guy anime accurate. However, it's not super, if you are a general painter, you're someone who paints models relatively often, this is not gonna be anything hard for you. It's really just detail painting, but you will have to do some masking and things of that nature. So you've got that, you've got your action posters for great Da-Garn GX there. And then of course you've got that on the back there. So there's not really much here. So what we'll do next is we'll go through all the parts and stuff that it comes with. So let's take a look at all the parts that this set comes with. So first we have the G Buster. This is a gun from Da-Garn. So it looks exactly the same as it did there. So you have this. Then you have the G Vulcan. This pretty much is a Gatling gun. He inherited this from Da-Garn as well. So he has these, and then it does have a place where you can put them together and it becomes the GX Buster. So in order to do that, you would just take this out, put this little piece in here, put that in there, and then put this together. All right, and then you've got the GX Buster. And then for the GX Buster cannon, which pretty much is just the reverse of this, you would just take this and then pull this out. If I can pull it out here. And then to just do the reverse of this, you would just take this, pull this off. Of course, I ain't got no nails, but just pull that off. And then we'll take this piece, put that in there, and then put that on the top there. And then you have the GX Buster Vulcan. So you can do both of these. So very, very good for that. Then you have pretty much, this is Da-Garn's head. So this is the lion mane part. So you do have that, pretty good. The mouth does not open or close, unfortunately. And you will have to detail the parts of the teeth here and here. But the rest of this is pretty much, I just did some panel lining in here, but the rest of this is pretty straightforward. So that's what you have for the lion head. And then these are the missile parts that sit on great Da-Garn GX's shoulders. So you have these here, these will just plug into the top, and we'll kind of go through that here a little later. but you've got that. It's actually relatively flexible, so you know, these can go in and out here. Even though there's not a ton of detail on these, so there's not really anything to panel line or anything like that. But so that's what you have for the two like shoulder cannon parts. And then these are the shoulder pieces for Great Da-Garn GX. There's nothing super spectacular about these. These are pretty much the same as the Da-Garn shoulders. They're just slightly bigger. So they're just slightly bigger than the original Da-Garn X ones. So that's what you have for the shoulders. And then you have the head for Da-Garn X. Now you will need to do some detailing specifically on the ears. The inner part stays red, but this entire part here is gonna be all white. So I did do that originally, and then I ended up just stripping all the paint off because I didn't like how it looked. I really don't have, most of my paints that I still have are pretty old, and so therefore I would have to put in reactivator or thinner in order to kind of get it done. And you'd probably need to do that with finger painting, or you would probably mask this section here. But yeah, this earpiece is supposed to be red and white, so you've got that there. And then, but he does look good, a good representation of that. So that's where some of your detail painting is gonna come into play. So that's what you have for the Great Da-Garn GX head. And then you have the G-Bird here. Nothing spectacular about that. The wings will move in and out there. This will connect onto Great Da-Garn GX's back. We'll go through that here in a little bit. He does have his 2 feet there. You will need to detail the eyes. I took a green marker. That's pretty much all that Gundam markers are really good for, is for like this kind of small detailing like this on the eyes. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So that's what you have for the G-Bird. This is also a part of the GX Buster as well. So that's what you have for the G-Bird. And then you have the 2 feet for Great Da-Garn GX. This is a separate part. This can move a little bit, so it can move up, down, in and out. It also comes with the ball joints in there, so you don't have to take them out of Da-Garn X. The thing about it is, like with Da-Garn X, the way that his feet are constructed, at least with his ankle part, is a little finicky. So unfortunately, a lot of times when I end up putting these in and out, I actually will pull out the entire ankle part for Da-Garn. So you do have to be careful about that. But so that's what you have for these here. Kind of just like Fire J Decker and some of the other Great Goldaron, things of that nature. So it's pretty much the same here, but it does look really, really good. So that's what we've got for the feet. And then this is the backpack for Great Da-Garn GX. This pretty much is the body of Gaon. Of course, if you've seen my Good Smile Great Da-Garn GX video, this is talked about extensively in here, but for this, it's just like a basic plastic part. So that's what you have for this here. And then you have the leg pieces here for Great Da-Garn GX. This is pretty much like the lion legs for Gaon. And the thing about this, they actually have a interesting gimmick here to where you can put these pieces in and you can simulate when Great Da-Garn GX pulls the G Vulcan and the G Buster out of his sides. And so I think that that's actually really, really cool. They didn't really need to do that, but I think that's really cool to have. So I actually have it set in that mode right now, but we'll kind of go through that when I transform him into Great Da-Garn GX. So that's what you have for the 2 side pieces. And then you have the Da-Garn Magnum. Now, I did a really horrible detail job on this. I just have Gundam markers at my disposal, and unfortunately, Gundam markers are not very accurate. I actually do not like using them, but for this, like, you're gonna have to, because this gun is pretty much all blue. And so you have to paint the white in there with the gold star there, with the white circular part, and then kind of the detail part. This is actually supposed to be red, but when I put red Gundam marker on this blue, it turns out like crap. I really don't like it like that. So unfortunately, this is pretty much where the majority of your detailing skills is gonna come into play. I've never been good from a miniature standpoint. Like the handle is gonna need to be white. This entire part here is gonna need to be white. And so if you want it to be anime accurate, that's what you're gonna need to do. But originally I was gonna just strip off all of this paint just to show you what it looked like bare bones. But to be honest, you're gonna have to pull out your airbrush, or if you're really good at hand painting, if you paint like miniatures and stuff like that, this will probably be right up your alley for that. But unfortunately, to novice painters, you're probably not gonna really like this, and I definitely do not recommend using Gundam markers for this. This is not what Gundam markers are used for. So unfortunately, you're gonna really have to do some finger painting or some hand painting here for the gun. But this is the Da-Garn Magnum. And then you do have extra hands for the Da-Garn, so for the miniature figure for Da-Garn. So of course he's got the semi-open wide hands there. So he's got those, he's got the finger pointing hands here. This is the hand for the Da-Garn Magnum. And really all it is that this actually will come up. You can pull that out. And so that kind of slides up. Now all of this is gonna need to be white if you are doing the detailing part. And the entire like trigger part, this part here with the clip, there's a lot of white in there. So if you're gonna do any detailing, that's what you wanna do to make that anime accurate. But that's how that slides in there. So that's what you have for his hand. So he's got quite a bit. Now and one last thing I forgot to mention about his hands is that for great Da-Garn GX hands, he uses the hands for Da-Garn X. So these will hold the G Vulcan and the G Buster. So you would literally just take those, slide these in here, just like that. But you will need those hands from Da-Garn X, so hopefully you did not throw those away. But that's what you will use for those, and then you can put the GX Buster, or the G Buster, I should say. Slide those in there, boom, so like that. So you will need those hands, so hopefully you still have that around. I don't know why you would buy this without buying Da-Garn X, but just in case, you're gonna need the hands from Da-Garn X in order to do that correctly. So I forgot to mention that earlier. So now let's take a look at the miniature Da-Garn next. So let's take a look at this miniature Da-Garn. I really do like this miniature Da-Garn. This miniature Da-Garn pretty much this is way better than the Good Smile miniature Da-Garn. The thing that the Good Smile has on this figure is the fact that that one can transform, whereas this one, this is just a clear figure. But I do like these miniature figures that kotobukiya does. They're probably the best looking and they're the most anime accurate. So, but you will have to do some detailing with this guy. So first, you know, you've got the head here. He's got really good movement here. So, you know, it's not super crazy. This ball joint here is really, really short. So of course, if you move it a lot, it's gonna want to pop off a lot. So he does have that. He has the face there. This does come with two different face plates. I didn't take the other two out because I probably won't use them. I usually just have the generic face, but you kind of have the wide open mouth there, and then you've got another face there. So I didn't even take those out, but you do get those as well if you like to do that. So as he keeps falling apart, okay. As far as detailing is concerned, there's a couple of things you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to do like the black part of his insignia here. Like this part comes in yellow, this part is white, but the black part, that's white as well. I just used the Gundam panel lining marker and kind of filled that in a little bit, so that's okay. This part here, this is actually like missile parts. He actually used that. Missiles will come out of here in the series. But for these are all white as well, so I had to paint those yellow, so I did. The thing about this yellow is it's more of a mustard yellow. It's kind of got orange, it's a little bit more orange than just plain yellow. So, but unfortunately I didn't have that mixture for this side part, so I would have done that. So that's what you've got there. For the detailing, I did a lot of panel lining here on the shoulders, here and here. Other than that, he's really, really good. He does have like this inside part is a black. When this came, it came in this blue. So you would probably want to mask this whole section and then paint that black. Okay, so you've got that in there. But other than that, that's pretty much all for the detailing. And then of course, he's got the different hands there. So of course I got the finger pointing hands on him. So now for his articulation, as I said earlier, this is pretty good considering how small he is, but you know, you're not gonna get super good articulation out of it, but it's pretty decent. So I figured it's worth going over. So of course he can turn his shoulders 360. He has a decent elbow bend there, okay? So he's got that for the arms. Of course, the head can go 360, okay? Just be careful with it. Okay, now as far as like when he looks up or looks down, he kind of does want to, the head does want to pop off. So just be cognizant of that. So unfortunately, he's not going to really get any, dynamic posing out of there. But he can raise his arms pretty good. So I really don't have any, whoops, as that comes off. He doesn't really have any issue as far as his arms or anything. Of course, he does have a very big V-fin, so just be cognizant of that when you're trying to raise up the shoulder, because that will pop the head off, okay? Just kind of like you saw earlier. So that's what you've got there. As far as the arms, he can spin this 360 as well. So he's got that there. Now for the midsection, he does have a decent ab crunch, not a ton, but a decent amount. So he's got that there. So I do like that. He can spin this 360, you just have to push this part up, push that part up, and then you can spin this. I kind of keep wanting to grab his head and it keeps wanting to come off, but you can spin that 360. So that's what you have for the midsection there. For the waist, this will not move up. This is kind of connected here to the side skirt, so unfortunately that's not really going to be able to move up all that well. Unless, yeah, that's not gonna move up it hardly at all. So, but I mean, you can move it up that way. And then you do have a decent elbow or knee bend there. So I do like that. For the toes, nothing really there for the toes there. So, but you can do the splits pretty much just like that. So not too shabby. So like I said, you're not gonna get the articulation of a, of a full figure, kind of like the bigger version of Da-Garn X or anything like that. You're not gonna get that kind of articulation, but I think this is really cool for what it is. Now, I really do like this. Oh, the back here. So of course, for the detailing as well, the back, this siren part, the middle piece is going to be white. Now you do get 2 of these in the box, and that's actually really good because I did paint this white originally, but I had it already on the figure. And I tried to pop this off because this is in there. This is connected to his backpack pretty good. And I tried to pop this off and I ended up breaking the siren. So I ended up taking that piece off and I used the extra piece that I had. So unfortunately, this is my second piece, and so I'm not gonna worry about painting it. If I do, it'll be at another time when I'm not doing the review for it. But just be cognizant of that. But yes, this middle part here is supposed to be all white. So you do have a little bit of detailing paint there to do. Nothing for the back skirts, okay? So you don't have anything there. But I think overall, he is really, really nice. And I would pay, if it was just for this guy alone, I would probably pay like, 15 bucks for this. It doesn't have the detail of like a high grade or something like that, but it's good for what it is. I do wish that kind of like the detailing parts, I do kind of wish that that was already done for you. I know that's kind of lazy as a model builder, but for me personally, I just don't have the time to dedicate to really doing it and doing it well. So I don't really have the time or the space in order to do it. So, I kind of just did what I could do and just kind of left it at that. But yeah, in order to kind of make him super anime accurate, you are gonna have to do some detailing with this guy. Not big detailing. It'll probably take, I don't know, to get it all done. If you're gonna mask it all and all of that, it may take you maybe about an hour or so to kind of paint it, let it dry, and then to kind of do your detailing that way. So, it's not horrible, but for me, I'm just lazy when it comes to that now. I don't really have the time to dedicate to really doing painting like I used to. So, that's what we've got there. So that's what we have for the mini Da-Garn. Now we'll do the transformation into Great Da-Garn GX. So I'm gonna take a risk here and cue the music. I really do like the music in Da-Garn, so we're gonna do that next. Have him in all of his glory. Great Da-Garn GX. He looks like he just came straight out of the anime. The proportions are literally perfect. This is exactly what he looked like in the show. And I am amazed. He just looks really, really good. There's not much, he's not really back heavy. That plastic piece isn't that heavy for him. Having the G-Bird on the back, you can put it in there with the feet on. There are 2 slits on the back where you can slide his feet in. However, you know, you can take them off. I think originally when I first had him built, I took the feet off and then stuck them on there. So you can do it either way, but the proportions are perfect. He looks really, really good. All you need to do is a little bit of the detailing for the head and, you know, kind of the detailing that I did for the teeth and things of that nature, some panel lining. But other than that, he's really, really good. As far as his look, he looks amazing. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out. Now, you know, we did have to wait for this for almost 1.5 to 2 years, but I think overall, I think he looks really, really good. So there's not really anything else that I would have done other than having maybe some of the detail parts come with him as far as for the ears and stuff. But, you know, that can be done with a little bit of work. So that's not too bad, but he looks spectacular. There's not much that I would change at all. So that's what you have for Great Da-Garn GX. Now we will do some size comparison with some of the other kotobukiya Brave kits, and we'll see what they look like standing side by side. But first, I wanted to simulate what it does in the anime where he pulls the guns out of his sides here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull this off real quick. All right, so we're gonna take this, and then you're gonna take this piece here and you're gonna split it, okay? So just be careful, you don't wanna break it, but take that and split that off. Let's see if I can get that off without breaking it, because it's snapped in there pretty good. Well, we've got it pretty much almost there. Where's my little plunger thing? Hold on. All right, there we go. So we pull that off. Then you take these little parts here, and then you can simulate that there. So let me grab the gun here. So first we're gonna grab the G Vulcan. So we've got that there. Now you're gonna need this little T-bar thing here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick that on the side here. And actually we'll probably make sure that it goes in this way. Okay, and then we're gonna take this piece here. That's going to connect right in here. All right, so that'll kind of hold it in place. Now you do have other ones in here so it can rest on there. You don't really need it though, but you can put these here. Okay, and put those there. Let me grab the other one here. And then put this in here like that. Okay, and then what you'll do is you'll simulate is you're gonna take this, put these two together, put these two, take these, put these together, snap those in place like that there. So it has it held, and then we can take this, and we'll snap this back on his leg, just like that, and boom. And so now he's simulating where he would pull those out of the leg. So I really do like that simulation. That does look really, really good, having it set like that. So I do like that. We could do the other side as well, but I just kind of wanted to show you the process. It's not too hard. It's just really putting these little bar things here in there, and then you would do the same for the other side. So that's what you have for that. Now we'll get into some of the size comparisons. I'm gonna pull out some of my other Brave models, and we'll take a look at that next. So first, before we do the great comparisons between some of the other kotobukiyas, I want to take a look at some of the minifigures. So of course, this is the Da-Garn from Good Smile. So as you can see, there's a lot different. Now the difference is with this one is that he can transform. The Good Smile one can, but as you can see, they really don't look that similar, and that just simply has to do with the fact of his transformation. And so a lot of times you see a lot of the car parts and stuff like that to where he's more anime accurate with the kotobukiya. That's why I like it. So actually, if I keep the Da-Garn GX from Good Smile, I'll probably use this Da-Garn as his mini because he looks more anime accurate compared to the Good Smile. Even though this one does transform, that one does not. So I just wanted to bring that out. So of course, you know, it just looks, the kotobukiya one just looks, it blows it out of the water. But as I said earlier, there's another function for the Good Smile because this one has to transform to where the kotobukiya one does not. So that's what you have for that one. Now let's bring out some of the other minifigures from kotobukiya. We have Duke Fire. So of course you have Duke Fire there. So he's roughly about the same size. So you have that one there. You do, you know, with the minifigures, that's honestly where the majority of your detailing is going to come from. So, you know, you've got that, and then you've got the Da-Garn. So you've got that as well. So of course, so there you have your Da-Garn there. So he fits in perfectly with Da-Garn and Duke Fire. The only one I'm missing for the minifigures is the Deckard. He comes with the Max Cannon. That's the only one of the minifigures that I'm missing. They did not have one for X-Kaiser, even though that probably would have been cool if they had done that, if they'd put that in with Great X-Kaiser, but I don't think they were doing that yet. So, you know, so that's what he looks like with the minifigures, and I just wanted to see what those look like together. So those look really good together. So now we'll take a look at the Great Da-Garn GX and compare him. So let's do some comparison for the great characters for the Brave franchise. And we're gonna take a look at some of the kotobukiya ones first, then I'll bring out some of the Bandai. So of course we have Great Da-Garn GX here. Next we're gonna bring out Gold Da-Garn, okay? So we've got Gold Da-Garn right there, relatively the same height. Now some people have asked me like what scale these are. To be honest, there's not really a scale for these. I would say that generally speaking, it's about the same size as a normal Gundam high grade. So generally speaking, at least for the, not the great parts, but the regular versions of all of these kotobukiya figures, I would say the great ones are a little bit bigger, but not a ton bigger, right? So you've got him. Then you have, let's bring out the kotobukiya Great X-Kaiser. So of course we have him. The gold version has been packed away, but I did take his sword. So you have him relatively the same height. So as you see, these will all fit together. They look really, really good together. And then next, we'll bring out Super Build Tiger, okay? So we've got Super Build Tiger right there. So we've got him there, and then lastly, for kotobukiya, we will bring out Fire J Decker, and actually we'll put him in the back there. All right, so they look spectacular together. I love it. My Brave shelf is almost complete. Now, as far as the kotobukiya, we're still missing quite a few from kotobukiya, but they have the major ones done. So they have X-Kaiser, Da-Garn, J Decker, and Gold Da-Garn. What we're missing from kotobukiya specifically is we're missing Firebird, we're missing Mike Gine, and we're missing Gal Gaigar and Dagwan. So we're missing 4. So we've gotten 4 of the great Brave figures. We're still missing 4 of them. So those are the 4 that we're missing. Now the Super Build Tiger, he's not the main character in his show. J Decker is. So you know, it's interesting that we got this one, even though I would say this is probably my favorite one based off of the mechanics as far as articulation and just like the muscular build. I really do like the Super Build Tiger. So, and also he has the neck parts for Da-Garn. So he comes with this one specifically. He does not have, they didn't give any of the extra ones with this Da-Garn one. I really wish kotobukiya would do that. If you're gonna have that like neck piece in there, because I wanna say, did they have that for Dino Geist? I can't remember if they had it for Dino Geist or not. I have Dino Geist packed away, so that's why he's not out here. But just put that neck piece in all of the kits going forward, and then we won't have to worry about it. All right, so that's what we have for the kotobukiya ones. Now, let's bring out some of the Bandai ones. So of course, we have Super Fire Dagwan. So he still fits, even though he's from a different company, he still fits. Now, actually, I'm running out of space here. So Let me try to move him back some so you can see there. So, but yeah, so there you have with the Bandai Super Fire Da-Garn. And then we have Alternative Destiny King X Kaiser. He's probably the smallest out of all of them, especially since he's not in his super form. So you have him there. And then we have my personal favorite, as I've said many times before, Bird. So that's what you have. Actually, let's move this back a little bit so you can see all of them. There we go. Look at that. So a lot of Brave stuff. Now, if you want to count the Bandai versions as well, then really the only one that I'm missing is Mike Gine. And I did not get the Bandai SMP Mike Gine just because I want it to look more anime accurate. So because the Bandai ones have a transformation in it, the Alternative Destiny one doesn't, but like the Firebird one does and the Da-Garn one does. They have transforming gimmicks, so they don't look as anime accurate, even though they still look good. They don't look as anime accurate as the kotobukiya ones. That's why I like the kotobukiya ones. So that's what you have for those. And then of course, let's put the mini Da-Garn here in the front. Yeah, that's really the only version of the Brave stuff. And Gal Gaigar, I don't have the, I have a Super Robot Chogokin of Gal Gaigar though, and he actually fits in with this one as well. So that's what you have. So really the only one I'm missing is Great Mike Gine or Mike Gine. So once I find him, I probably will stick with the kotobukiya line over the Bandai, not because I don't like the Bandai ones, it's just that I want them to look as close to the anime as possible, and I think that the kotobukiya ones do that the best. But if you're looking for a transformable one, then I would stick with the Bandai. But as you can see, that pretty much is my Brave shelf. So that's what we've got for the size comparisons. Now let's get into final thoughts. So, final thoughts on this guy. You know, it's been a while since I've had to make a Brave kit. Brave really doesn't come out that often for kotobukiya. I would say maybe between 2 and 3 times a year. So it's been a while since I've made this. Now, the thing about this Da-Garn was that Da-Garn came out almost 2 years ago. And the fact that we are just now getting the GX parts for it, I don't know why it took them so long. It really isn't any different than any of the other Brave sets that they had. Now granted, I do understand that when they had their original Da-Garn released, they weren't combining the super parts with them yet. And I'm glad that they started doing that going forward. That was something that I talked about in a lot of the other Brave videos, that because there wasn't enough value for how much they charge for just the super parts for a lot of this stuff. So I think that that was really good. So hopefully this will probably be the last time we get the super parts or extra parts sold separately. I think just putting them in one big kit and selling it for 90 bucks or 100 bucks, I think is pretty spot on for me with kotobukiya. So good on them for that. As far as the model goes, I really do like the GX farce. This is one of my favorite designs, even though it's relatively simple. I think for me, especially when it comes to Da-Garn, Mike Gine, and Jay Decker, even though I would say story-wise, a lot of those are very good for the Brave franchise. For me personally, just the ones that where the main character was a train. In America, we don't grow up with trains. We just don't. And so, you know, we see a train here and there, but it's not ingrained in our society like it is in Japan. So a lot of times those designs to me just are relatively simple, and I've never looked at them as very appealing. However, this is the exception with Great Da-Garn GX. I've always liked this one. For whatever reason, he has always reminded me of Victory Saber. So I don't know why, he just does. But anyway, so the thing about the model, like, it's relatively good. The super parts don't really hinder him in any way. But the thing about this one, more so than some of the other Brave figures that I've done, is that you are going to need to do some paint work with this guy. I would say more than any of the other kits, whether it's Golderon, whether it's Super Build Tiger, like most of those had very minimal paint stuff that you needed to do. With this one, in order to kind of make him anime accurate, you're going to need to do some masking and really bring out your paint brushes or bring out your airbrush, and you're really gonna have to do that in order to bring it out. Now, none of it is super big, none of it's necessarily hard, but you do need to do that. And I would say that you do need to do that for this guy more than any of the other ones. Now, I will say that the thing that puts this over the top is not just the GX parts, but the miniature Da-Garn himself. You know, having Good Smile do their version of it, and even though that one transforms, I like that miniature figure of Da-Garn. Now, granted, I could be biased because I really do enjoy the series. This is one of my favorite series in the entire Brave franchise. So I may be a little biased in that, but I really do like these miniature figures. I think that that kind of puts it over the top. It gives it an extra bonus for those. And to be honest, a lot of figures of them, whether it's a Soul of Chogokin or something like that, like those rarely ever come out for those characters because they're not the super parts, or they're not the main character. That's kind of like the mini character that goes inside the big robot. And so a lot of times we just don't get good figures of them. And so I think that Kotobukiya has really done well by having a miniature figures. I didn't really like it at first, but as time has gone on, I've definitely warmed up to it. So for me, out of 10, I think I gave the original Da-Garn X an 8.5. I'm gonna give this one an 8.75. I think that this one is really good. It's a really good add-on set, the miniature Da-Garn, so I really don't have any issue with him. So, you know, I really do enjoy this set. If you are a fan of Da-Garn, it's not a hard build. None of it is really hard. It's just more the detail work, but don't use Gundam markers. Just take it from me with that. You're either gonna have to touch up on your paint brushing skills, or you're gonna have to bring your airbrush out. I have both, but unfortunately it's not, I do have to practice in order to kind of get really good at it again. So, you know, you have that issue there. But I think overall, I do enjoy this set very, very much. So that's what we've got going forward. So thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys can like, comment, and subscribe for the video. As we get closer to 1,000, I'm gonna be pushing towards trying to get up to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. So that's my goal for the end of the year. So I've never asked people to like, comment, and subscribe in any of my other videos. That's just like, it's not something that I like to do, but I do understand there is a reason why content creators ask you to do that. It's just so the video can get pushed in the algorithm, so it can get out to more people and more eyes. So that's really the main, that's the main reason why a lot of them ask you to do that. So, but anyways, if you guys can like and comment on the video and share it out to your friends, people that you know that like Brave, and I would appreciate it. So going forward, I do have a couple of things in the lineup. I still need to work on Bon-Gon. That's the other Brave figure that came out last month. I do have it. It's sitting in one of my backlogs. So I will be working on that going forward. However, I am going to be on vacation for a little while here. So you may not see any more videos from me, at least for the next week or two. I'll be out traveling and things of that nature. So that's what we've got. So thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.